Hey everybody, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we're going to take a look at FabFilter's updated delay plugin, Timeless 3. And we're going to compare it to Timeless 2, see what's new, go over some of the features, and of course hear it in action on a few different sources. So on the right-hand side here, this is Timeless 3, the updated plugin. On the left, I've got the previous version, Timeless 2. One of the reasons I didn't use Timeless 2 quite as much as some other delay plugins was it just had a cluttered interface. There's a lot going on here. You've got all these sort of routing arrows telling you which way the delay is going. You've got the filter section here, which is pretty cool. You had to click and expand on it. You have your modulation section down here, which had a lot of great functionality, but just really busy, really cluttered. Wasn't resizable, just had this view, normal and wide view. And the interface got a much deserved and much appreciated overhaul. First of all, sizing of the plugin. It can go any size you want, all kinds of custom sizes. You can, of course, choose from their presets, and you can even go full screen, which is fantastic. The filter section is over here. You can add up to 6 filters, and this time we can add all different kinds of filters, sort of Pro Q style filtering in here. We can have those analog filter shapes that we had over in Timeless 2, but also add some sort of typical EQ filtering options as well to shape the delays to taste. You have up to 16 individually controllable delay taps, which can all be modulated. So if you click on this tap button here, we can kind of create our own taps as well. And that's all represented on the interface over here. In fact, let's make this nice and big. You've got a ping pong mode selected down here, which is new. You've got 5 new effects, which is huge for creating some kind of distorted or lo-fi delays or shaping the delay beyond kind of a clean standard delay. You've got drive for saturation, a lo-fi bit crushing effect, diffuse, which blurs the delayed and feedback signal, kind of reverb-like. We've got dynamics, which can gate or compress the incoming audio signal. We've got some pitch shifting, which can create some sort of chorus effects when you use it. All of these effects, again, can be modulated. The delay freeze over here can be modulated. That's new. This new delay visualization is a visual representation of the delay settings, the input, feedback, and allows you to edit delay time and taps from directly within the display here. The filter display over here has a spectrum analyzer built in, which is new. Very cool. There is a stereo width control down here, which is new. You can see as you move that stereo width, you actually see the visualization change here from wide on left and right side to right in the middle for mono. You've got a mix slider over here instead of dry level, which is what Timeless 2 had. And you can see the visual representation over here change again when I go from 0%, there's the original signal here, to 100% with just the delayed signal. The modulation section, kind of like the Saturn update, has some new visualization showing you what's being modulated. So you can see like these colors moving here and little colored dots next to this to show you exactly what these modulation parameters are controlling. Speaking of modulation, I can get really detailed here. I'm not going to go over it. There's a million new things in the modulation section. You have a transient mode for envelope followers, turning them into transient detectors, a slider mode that you see here for XY pads, increase XY controllers up to 6. You can rename the mod sources, like this is called ducking, that's renamed. You can just click on it and rename it whatever you want. All kinds of other stuff that you can do within that modulation section. You've got a bunch of new factory presets in here as well. You've got the old presets from Timeless 2, which could sound a little bit different just because it's a new engine here, and a bunch of new presets as well. Now let me get rid of Timeless 2, move this right into the middle. Let's go for some of the controls here. Again, you've got the delay display on the left. If I pick a different delay here, you can see all the different taps being represented on that display. The filter display on the right, again, there's a spectrum analyzer in there. Your effect controls are right here. All the important delay controls are right here, and your modulation is at the bottom. So let's talk about the main delay controls in the middle. The delay knob right in the middle, I'll go back to the default setting here. The delay knob right in the middle sets the base delay time, and that pan ring right around it, you can see that move right there. It can increase the left or right channel's delay time up to 400% of the base value for stereo effects. So if your base value is 350, and I'm right up the middle, they're both 350. I can slide it, changes the right side. Move it this way, changes the left side. Kind of has some stereo offset there. This button right here is a freeze button that freezes the delay. You've got ping pong below this. You can ping pong left first or right first. Delay sync if you want to go free or syncing to the host tempo. You've got this delay read mode. It's either on tape or on stretch. When it's on tape and you change the delay time, you get all kinds of pitch changing effects. If it's on stretch, the pitch stays the same. The delay button down here, you can tap to set your own tempo. It's a tap tempo button right down there. The feedback right over here controls the amount of the delayed output that is fed back into the input from 0 to 200%. The pan ring around here changes the amount of feedback per channel, more right or more left channel. And again, it's reflected over here in the display, which is really nice. You can kind of see what's going on. The cross feedback mix here sets the mix between normal feedback and cross, which feeds from one channel to the other with a slider right there. We've got feedback invert buttons down here to change the polarity, which can give you some kind of cool phase and stereo effects. The output section right over here, you've got your stereo width slider from full stereo to mono. The wet level knob right here sets the level of the delayed signal, and the pan ring around it sets the left, right, or mid-side balance, depending on what you have selected down here, left, right, or mid-side mode. So if I swing this pan ring to the left, it's the left side, right side, or in between. To use this as a ducking delay, you just use, well, they call it ducking in the default preset, but an envelope follower connected to the wet level. You've got a mix slider here between 0 and 100%, usually left at 100 if it's used as a send effect. You've got this little lock sign right here, which locks the mix at 100%, which is great for auditioning different presets, so these different presets aren't moving between different percentages of the mix. Again, I mentioned there's a tap editing mode where I can just add my own taps here, plus sign, edit those taps whatever way I want. You've got drag and drop modulation. Just pull it and drag it to whatever parameter you want modulated. And that pretty much is it for the standard controls. We can get really deep into this thing because there are so many different controls you can have. But that covers the basic elements here in Timeless 3. So already, even without hearing it, you can see it's a super versatile, super flexible delay plugin. Let's hear this thing in action though. Let's start with it on the vocal part. I'm just going to leave it on its default setting. The mix is set at 100%. I'm going to push the delay up a little bit hotter than it normally would be, just so we can hear what it's doing.
Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Will I make it with half a heart?
So it already starts out with kind of a filtered lo-fi sound for the delay, just in the default mode. That's because you've got some filtering, of course, going on, and the drive here. So what I'd like to do is use this default setting as a starting point. I'm just going to mess with some of the controls, starting with the effects section over here. Then I'll change some of the delay parameters here and some of the filtering to see exactly what we can get going with the different elements of Timeless 3.
Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? I'll make it till tomorrow. Oh, my half a heart, I won't die from sorrow. Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
I mean, we can get some very wild delays just by altering the effects section right in here. Now I'm going to mess with the delay time.
Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Half a heart, will I make it? Half a heart.
And if you leave that freeze on and change the delay time, you can get some really cool sort of pitch shifted effects there. Let's move to the filter section right here.
Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Half a heart, will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
I mean, just adjusting the simple parameters right on the screen, tweaking for fun, you get a ton of different effects. Let's try some presets out and see what they sound like. We're going to start with some medium and go with the vocal category down here and just cycle through these medium presets for vocal delay.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart?
This gives a really good example of the visualization you get for all the different modulation that's going on down here right below the delay section.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart?
This one's got ducking built in, which is nice.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How? Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart?
Let's go to some slap back delay.
Half a heart. Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart?
Some nice compression, sort of tape saturation and compression going on in that one.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
Let's jump to some longer delays here, still in the vocal category. There's only 2 here.
Half a heart. Will I?
It's a nice tail on that one.
Half a heart. Will.
You can see in the visual representation all the taps kind of happening in the delay.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half?
Do a couple special effects here.
Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart? Half a heart. Will I make it with half a heart? How can I live with half a heart?
So we can go from very clean delays to dirty tape style delays to wild special effects, all within this one plugin, which is awesome. Let's hear it on a different source now. Next, we've got it on a synth. I'm going to bypass the plugin. Here's the synth part by itself. And here's the first synth preset, which comes out of the long category here. Nice long tail on that one. Now let's check it out on a guitar part. Here's the guitar part all by itself. And with one of the guitar presets. Here's another one. So this thing is so flexible, it's insane. I mean, you could spend hours tweaking this. My suggestion would be to pick a few of these presets in each category, tweak it to something you like, save your own custom presets, and there you have your own kind of individual sound developed here in Timeless 3. Like I said before, it can go from very clean to dirty to wild to anything in between. Extremely versatile. In my opinion, much easier to use than Timeless 2. Looks a lot better than Timeless 2 as well, which is a bonus. And really, all FabFilter stuff is great. I highly recommend them as a company. I own pretty much everything they have and use it all the time. So highly, highly recommended Timeless 3, new updated delay plugin from FabFilter. If you have any comments or questions, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next. And I'll see you in the next one.